hardest parts of caregiving, it's not what they say, it's how much it stays with you. The tone, the reaction, the moment you didn't expect, and then later you replay it because you don't know how to stop it from sticking. Today, I'm going to walk you through those experiences and how to manage them in a practical way. Hi, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. Before we dive in, I want you to imagine the scene because it likely plays out for a lot of your households. You're in the kitchen, you say something innocent, and suddenly they snap at you sharply. Stop telling me what to do. And it's not just the words, it's how they say it, it's how it lands in your heart. And in that moment, you feel it. There's an immediate reaction almost before you can catch it. And it's not just the words, it's how they say it, it's how it lands. And after that immediate reaction, there's a second layer. You start questioning yourself. Did I say something wrong? Was I being too much? What did I do? So let's start here, because I've seen a lot of you ask in the comments, how do I let this go, Dr. Sinclair? You should see the way they speak to me. And I do want to reframe the experience because today's video is not going to be about having a thicker skin. If it were that easy, you wouldn't need this video. A more helpful way to understand this is to think about how your nervous system is processing these moments. In dementia caregiving, a lot of these interactions don't just pass through you, they linger. And it's because of what your nervous system is going through. And before we can even start discussing how to let it go, you have to first understand why it feels so personal in the first place. Why it feels so personal, first reason, your brain doesn't just hear it, it interprets it. When something like that happens, when your loved one snaps at you, your brain isn't just hearing words, it's interpreting them. And it does that quickly, automatically. So instead of registering the situation as that was an impulsive reaction or that was just dementia, your mind shifts into that was directed at me. Why are they talking to me like that? Why are they treating me this way after everything I'm doing? And once that meaning gets attached, that it's somehow about you, the moment doesn't just pass. It stays with you because now it's not just something that happened, it feels like it says something about you. And our brains are wired to hold on to emotional meaning, especially when it feels personal. Second reason it feels so personal. You're not just hearing it once, you're living in it. Another reason this can feel so personal is because it's not just happening once. You're there every day. You're helping them. You're reminding them. You're stepping in. You're holding things together in ways that people can't even see. So when a reaction like that happens, it doesn't land in isolation. It lands on top of every other thing that you're carrying. And over time, that starts to build. Not just the individual moments, the accumulation of them, because there isn't really a reset for you in between. You move from one moment into the next, into the next. And when hurts builds like that, even smaller moments can start to feel heavier than they otherwise would. Third reason, it catches you off guard. Another reason it can start to feel so personal is because it often catches you off guard. You might be having a wonderful day, a completely normal moment, maybe even a good one. You're talking, there's some connection, things really feel great, things feel calm, and then without much warning, bam, something happens. Their tone changes, their response sharpens, and you're left thinking, where in the world did that come from? We were having such a great day. What happened? And it's that feeling of being caught off guard that tends to make it land more deeply because your brain didn't have time to prepare for it. When something emotional feels unpredictable like that, your brain automatically flags it as important. And when something is tagged as important, it's more likely to stick around. It's one of our survival mechanisms. It has kept us alive and safe. It's not because you're doing something wrong, but because your brain is trying to make sense of something that felt sudden and unexpected. It's trying to keep you safe by replaying these moments over and over again. It's trying to help you prepare for the next next time. And now that you understand all of that, hopefully it's gotten a little easier for you to understand why just letting it go doesn't work. Because your brain isn't ready to let it go yet. It's just trying to process something that felt really important. So instead of forcing yourself to push it away, it helps to have a way to move through it. And that's what I want to give you today. A simple step-by-step way to handle these moments as they're happening so that they don't have to keep building and following you through the rest of your day. Your step-by-step system, step 1, catch the moment in real time. The first shift is learning to catch the moment while it's happening, not later in the car, not at night when you're trying to go to sleep as your brain is replaying it, but right there, real time in the moment. And this is something many caregivers don't realize at first. You can actually feel the moment as it lands. It's subtle, but that tightening in your chest, that drop in your stomach, that brief internal reaction where something in you goes, ow. That really hurt. That moment is your entry point, not to fix anything, not to respond differently right away, just to acknowledge even quietly to yourself, that hurt. And then, if you can, take one small step further, see if you can name what you're actually feeling. Research shows that naming your experience helps to get us unstuck. Is it sadness because your conversations aren't the way they used to be? Is it embarrassment because of how they just spoke to you? Is it anxiety because now you're walking on eggshells? You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't have to get it perfectly right. Just getting closer to the emotion is enough. And this part is important. Emotional labeling is for you, not for them. Don't share this with them. Because when your reaction goes unnoticed, your brain tends to hold on to it longer than necessary. But when you can pause and recognize the emotion in the moment and allow it to be something that you can care for yourself through, it gives your brain a place to begin taking care of you. Ways to care for that emotion? Ground through your body. In that moment, you might gently slow your breathing. Even one slower breath in and out can be helpful. Then offer yourself a quiet reframe. Instead of the automatic meaning that gets assigned that it's about you, you might say something to yourself like, this is a hard moment. This is a hard dementia moment. This is not a reflection of me. You're saying that to yourself not to push your feeling away, but to actually speak about reality, what's happening in the moment. It's not about you, it's about dementia. And next, offer yourself a small moment of self-support. And sometimes it's as simple as putting your hand on your chest or on your arm. That's a small physical reminder that you can give to yourself to ground yourself back to the present and say something like, I'll be okay, that was hard. And give yourself a compliment. I'm doing a great job. I didn't just snap at them the way they snapped at me. Okay? Bring humor to it if you can. And when you start to catch and care for your emotions in this way, you're no longer just reacting to what's happening. You're beginning to change how it moves through you. And that's what makes the next step possible. Step 2, separate what happened from the meaning. This is the most important shift in the entire process because this is where it either sticks or you're able to start releasing it. In that moment, your brain is going to try to tell you a story. That was disrespectful. How dare they? They shouldn't talk to me like that. Why are they treating me this way? And again, those moments make sense, but they also lock the moment in. So instead, give your brain a different sentence. This is a brain-based reaction. This is what dementia looks like. This is not about me. This is the disease. And you may not even believe these sentences yet, but even saying it aloud starts to loosen the grip of this experience. Step 3, regulate your body first, not your words. Now this is where many caregivers naturally go to next. They try to respond better. They try to find the right words. But if your body is still activated in that moment, what you say often won't land the way that you intend it to anyway, because your nervous system is already communicating through your tone of voice, your facial expression, your pace at which you're speaking. So before you focus on what to say, it helps to take a few seconds to settle your body. You may not have time for a full reset and it doesn't have to be perfect. Just a small shift, a slower breath in, a longer breath out, letting your shoulders drop a bit, softening your face, unclenching your jaw. Even those small adjustments can completely change how the moment unfolds, both for them and for you. Step 4, choose your response instead of reacting. And once your body has settled even a little bit, from there, you have more choice in how to respond. Instead of asking yourself, what do I feel like saying right now? You can shift to what will help to settle the moment. So rather than reacting to the tone or the words, you begin to respond in a way that you value. You might say something like, that sounds frustrating. How can I help? I can see why you feel so upset. You're angry. I want to support you. Help me understand what you need. And this is an important distinction. You're not reinforcing the behavior. I get that question often. You're helping to stabilize the moment so that it doesn't escalate further. Step 5, micro recovery. This is what stops the buildup. One last piece that often gets missed is what happens after the interaction, because even if you handled the moment splendidly, your body still went through something. And if you move straight into the next task for your person without closing out the loop, it tends to stay with you longer. As you put your head on the pillow to go to sleep, the moment is going to replay again. So instead of just moving on, give your body a brief signal that the moment is over. Not something that will take a long time, but a small reset. Maybe step into another room and identify what you're most proud of for the way that you handle the situation. Maybe you can take a few more deep breaths in. It just takes 10 to 20 seconds, because what you're doing there in this moment is you're helping your nervous system to register that the moment has passed. And this is what helps to prevent everything from stacking on top of everything else. And if you're hearing all of this and thinking, wow, this feels really different from what I've been doing, it makes sense, because many caregivers have been taught to push through the experience, to ignore what they're feeling inside, to just be strong and keep going. But what we're talking about here is completely different. It's not just about pushing through. It's about actually taking care of yourself in those hard moments. Something is happening to you and you have to acknowledge that. So if it feels like everything sticks, it's not because you're too sensitive. It's because no one showed you how to let it pass through. These are, of course, just a few moments. Share below what you do in those moments to help things not stick. You'll be helping another care partner out. And if this has helped you to feel even a little bit more grounded, I've created something to help you to take it to the next step. It's the free Dementia Starter Kit that's linked below. Go ahead and grab it. I hope today's video was helpful, care partners. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.